Hi there, I'm Norbert and welcome to my workshop. Today I'm going to show you how I built this wooden clock that has a face made of wood scraps and cut-offs. And well, personally I think it looks amazing. Come on, let's build this. Back in the day, I restored an old cart I dreamed of. Whenever I replaced an old part with new one, I'd put the old one in a box, just in case. Ever since I started my woodwork adventure, I do exactly the same with scraps. Especially the exotic ones. I throw away nothing, just in case they are useful someday. So I started by digging out all of these leftovers from my previous projects. Pieces too nice to throw away and too small to use them alone. I've had literally everything there, from my absolutely favorite pieces through more traditional exotics to, well, plywood. And so I started gluing it all together and cutting it and gluing back and cutting again. During these cuts and glue ups, a parcel arrived with my new Mitre saw, Evolution Fury. It turned out to be just as good as I expected it to be, and now we're back to the clock. After each gluing, I would cut off one straight edge, and then along this edge I joined together larger and larger pieces. Finally, the whole thing started to resemble a rectangle. It was a sign for me that I could stop focusing on the edges and start thinking about the surface of the puzzle. For this purpose, I quickly assembled a planing jig. The old shelf served as the basis. I cut the sides and screwed the boards. I cut two aluminum runners, at the end of which I attached two pieces of wood with a length corresponding to the diameter of the router's base. I know it sounds a bit abstract. Don't worry, you'll see what I mean in a second. Under the ends of the guides I screwed one more piece of wood so that the whole set would go along the edges of the boards but not sideways. Thanks to the jig, I'll be able to create a well-fitted puzzle not only with straight edges, but most importantly with a surface as smooth as run through a planer. When I was done, the result was unbelievable. I've already seen how others do it, but I didn't think I would succeed, and the effect was so spectacular. And even the amount of wood chips to clean up didn't spoil my good mood. When I sanded the whole piece and cut it to its final size, I glued a piece of plywood underneath to give the face a proper thickness and to have a spot to put the clock mechanism into. Then I drilled a hole for a thread on which I'll fix clock's hands and routed a recess for the mechanism. This is how my router became an unexpected star of the video. Just because something had to go wrong, it turned out that the recess I routed was too deep. To compensate for this, I had to glue in there a thin piece of wood. To finish the wooden face, I used shellac. 4 layers to be specific. The first 2 were sanded with 500 grit paper. With such a concentration of exotic wood, the effect could only be ultra spectacular. Anyway, judge for yourselves. Because the puzzle, actually now the clock's face, because the clock's face was not very clear when it came to quickly telling the time or judging the time, I decided to route 4 small lines at noon, 3 o'clock, 6 and 9, and then painted them white ever so slightly. All that was left was to insert and screw the clock mechanism and to slide the hour, minute and second hands on the thread. What's most important, I managed to buy a flowing mechanism. This means that the second hand does not tick, it does not jump, it just slowly flows across the face, second after second, mesmerizingly keeping time. Okay, so now that you have okay, so now that you've seen me build the thing and you know how it's done, and I'm pretty much sure that we all have some sort of cut-off and wood scraps lying around our workshops, you have no excuses left. You just have to build this and have it on your wall. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up and make sure that you subscribe to my channel so that we see in any future projects. Until the next time, take care, bye bye.